The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
All right, Cowboys Nation, welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. Sorry, I tried to do a little remix today. We're in the SWBC studio here on Thursday. Goodness, it is a Thursday. We got Aisha Morrison in the studio. We got Bonnie Jill Laughlin in the studio. We got Jazz Monet in the studio. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Baby, better than these people on the
Stop.
What you say?
It hasn't even been a minute.
Which thing did I say?
My neck.
My neck, my back, my neck, and my back.
I am hollering. Speaking of
good.
my neck and my back, we got a lot of this on this dang injury report today. We got foot. Well, that's still Deron Bland. Sorry. Kalen Carson, illness, sick, looking at this injury report / shoulder, though. He did not participate. We have Chumo, toe, limited. Jake Ferguson, illness, did not participate. Tyler Guyton, good news though, he was a full participant today. Eric Kendricks was a full participant. Saw him in locker room actually. He was in good spirits. You have Jordan Lewis though, who did not participate. He was working with the rehab group, and Mike McCarthy did mention that in the press conference that he was going to be off to the side a little bit due to a neck injury. Hunter Lipke did not participate because of a calf injury. Zach Martin did not participate because of a shoulder. Of course, you have Dak Prescott still listed. He is officially on IR soon. Tyler Smith, limited because of a knee injury. And the last person to not participate is Nick Vigil. Wow, that's lengthy.
Did y'all see that that video that, what's her name, Amy Agar or something like that she put out on
I knew you were
Twitter?
talking about Annie.
When
Yeah.
Annie, yes, when she was talking about the Cowboys, she said 36% of your salary cap is getting an MRI. And that's all I think about when I see this list.
Is that the truth, though? Wow.
Sick. No, these injuries couldn't have come at a worse time. I mean, I feel like the Cowboys have just been, since the start of training camp, haven't had the best luck when it comes to staying healthy, and that's an issue, especially when you're going up against a team like the Houston Texans at this point of the season, and you are at the point where you have no room for error. Y'all's thoughts on the injury report?
I mean, a good number of these guys are still full participants, so that gives me a little bit of optimism as far as like what this list might look like on Sunday. Outside of that, kind of like we talked about before, it is a list that's just been growing this season, so it's not like this came from out of nowhere. A lot of these names we could have predicted, so I think for most of it, like most people have like come to terms with like, okay, these people are dealing with things, and we'll just see what they do on Sunday. I hate to see that Deron Bland still isn't back. Kalen Carson not participating at all is a little bit concerning. But outside of that, it's almost like not a lot of this is surprising.
Yeah, and Jake Ferguson, illness. I'm not that concerned, 'cause I'm hoping that just means something.
It says toe. It says toe.
It says illness on here.
It says illness?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says illness on here.
Oh, I thought it said toe.
That's Chuma.
Chuma.
It's right above Chuma.
Okay, it's mixed
Jake,
up.
that's
I was
why.
like,
So that usually
fine.
means that
somebody coughed
he'll
on
be
him.
okay, right? So I'm not that concerned. But
He needs
as
some
long as
testing.
Micah and Kendricks are good, I'm good with that.
No, you gonna
Illness
need.
could mean a lot of things. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean,
Well, I hope it's not something that carries into Monday night.
y'all real calm over here. Cause baby, I heard Jordan Lewis and my ears perked up, especially because he hasn't been on the injury report
that's true,
all
that's new.
season, and he has a heck of a task this week going up against Tank Dell in the slot. They use Tank on the outside. But they have been using him on the outside with the absence of Nico Collins. But it sounds like
might be back.
Yeah, I just took a glance. Is it cool?
He
if we
might
get
be-
the
go ahead,
injury report for the Texans?
I was about to ask you what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have Will Anderson, who is their star defensive end. He is dealing with an ankle. He did not practice today. Nico Collins' hamstring was limited, so it looks like he's trending in the right direction, as you said, Nicole. Let's see who else is. Kamari Lassiter, who's one of their cornerbacks. He's a big part of what they do in their secondary. He's dealing with a concussion. Got a concussion last week. He did not practice today. It's sounding like, talking to a couple people, he might not go.
Yeah,
not sure
just a
100%,
concussion.
but they are veering more towards that. Derek Stingley Jr., again, another one of their corners, one of their star corners. He's dealing with a hip. He did not practice today. And then Laramie Tunsil, their left tackle, is dealing with a knee as well. He was limited in practice today. He got dinged up last week. I saw it when I was watching film. So, just they're a little banged up too, and looking at their injury report and seeing some of these did not practice and limited and stuff, it's similar in the sense of like, they're gonna play.
Yeah.
But again, they are a little banged
So
up
banged
too,
up.
and depending on what happens, some of these guys being out can matter. I could tell you on the secondary front, like
I was
their
going to say,
secondary.
especially their DBs.
Yeah, those two gentlemen, Lassiter and Stingley Jr., are important to what they
They
do.
got some solid DBs.
All right, we're going to get to that in just a second. First,
Right, because I'm like,
we got Aisha's insights. 3 players to look out for defensively.
So I'm going to start with the Daniil Hunter, former Viking. He's having a fantastic year lining up. They line him up next to Will Anderson, and sometimes they just go get the quarterback. This is not a defensive line that's going to do a whole bunch of extra blitzing. Well, actually, I'm lying. They do blitz. They bring 5 rushers fairly often, and they're not super fancy because they have faith that their guys can win on their own. So Daniil Hunter, 5.5 sacks on the season already. He has 62 pressures this season, and he's having a great year. He's benefiting from the guys around him right now. So I'm gonna say him, especially if Will Anderson is kind of dinged up. Another gentleman I wanted to point out, y'all, Jalen Petrie is. He's been one of my favorite safeties to watch for a while. He is a little bit of a headhunter, but the range that he plays with and how he can get from sideline to sideline as quickly as he do, he's also a big reason why they're able to play nickel, because they'll use him and they'll use Bullock, their safeties in the nickel to defend some of the tight ends. They both are able to come into the box and be physical as well.
Bullock's that rookie, right?
Yeah, Bullock. Yeah,
Yeah. He's
he
on
was one of
fire,
our
too,
favorite
yeah.
players coming out of the draft in the first place. And I guess I would mention, for not such good reasons, Henry To'oTo'o. He was a linebacker that came out this draft, Alabama linebacker. You can take advantage of him in coverage. And so that's why when you hear the Jake Ferguson illness thing, and my ears kind of perked up, because we are still looking for Jake Ferguson to be involved in this offense and be consistently involved in this offense. I thought that maybe these linebackers are somewhere where they could find some success getting him out in space and making him miss, because Henry in particular is struggling in coverage. So those are my 3 guys to take a look at.
All right, well, let's start with the front, because everything that they do relies with how good their defensive line is. And when you talk about the opportunities or maybe lack thereof of opportunities to run the football, when you talk about the Cowboys, will there be any opportunities to do that?
I think there will be opportunities to do so. I think some of the same things that we're starting to incorporate more against the Eagles, they still need to continue to build on. And, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about Rico, but like the tosses to him as opposed to the handoffs, we have yet another game example of that working a little bit better. So I think they should build on that. Rico getting to the outside, bouncing to the outside seemed to work as well. So both those things, I think, could still provide opportunities just like it has in the past. Now, how successful will it be? I think part of that's going to depend on how they decide to use the run. I still have yet to see a game where it feels like they're actually doing enough running, where the running backs are getting enough carries. So I would like to see them incorporate that a little bit more. But yeah, I think there'll definitely be opportunities, especially with the way that Rico is really starting to hone his instincts, get used to the position. And I wouldn't call him necessarily a creator yet at running back, but he's kind of getting there a little bit. I'm seeing some instances where it kind of seems like, okay, that gap I thought was going to be there is not there, so I'm going to go this way, and it's working out for him. So we'll see. I feel like he's one of the players on the team who's actually on an upward tick.
Same, yeah. I know there's not a lot of bright spots that we can talk about all season, but he's one that shows I think he's a legitimate player. And I think if we give him more touches, he's even said consistently, if I get in there and you give me some time, he's like, I get the rhythm. And he's like, being going in there, 1-2 snaps and then he's out. I think he just needs that momentum. I think it helps with his confidence. And, Mike McCarthy said that he needs more touches. Well, you're the play caller. Let him run. Let Rico run.
I agree. I do think also too, to answer your question, Nicole, Hunter Lipke, whatever he's dealing with is important to what you do in your run game. Yeah. He's essentially an extra blocker, and that's a lot of what he's been doing. Now, his snap usage, and it's been kind of fluctuating. You'll see it be up a little bit more one game, and then the next one, you just like, he's not even touching the ball at all. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it has something to do with whatever he's dealing with. But I will say, when you talk about the Houston defense, this is a pass rush-led defense. They want to get after the quarterback. Even when you look at their D tackles, most of them, Tim Settle Jr., this is a D tackle. He has 4 sacks on the year. So this is a defense that's going to get upfield and really drive. So one of the things that you can use against them is their aggressiveness, is their want to get upfield and to rush the passer, and you can't really give them these opportunities. So staying ahead of the sticks is going to be important. I think with a defensive line like this. I think if you get to the second level, you might have a better situation because their linebackers, Aziz Al-Shair, I think that's how you say
Niners,
it.
Yeah.
Yes, he came over from the Niners. He reminds me a lot of Overshown.
Yeah.
When you watch him play, and I heard D'Amico Ryans actually speak on him a couple weeks ago. And with his performance, because he wasn't performing well because he was just going, just like very instinctual, just going, still learning how to read. You can trip up some of these young guys in their linebacker room. They lost. I apologize. They had there it is. Christian Harris, their lead linebacker, they lost to IR on with a calf. So those young guys, they've been struggling at the second level. I don't know if Dallas is going to do anything. I think you mentioned some tosses and some stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that if you could get some misdirection, you could take advantage of them there trying to get to the second level. But this defensive line rallies to the ball.
I was actually going to ask you what you thought about their linebacker room, because I wasn't impressed with what I saw from their linebackers, considering how dominant their front is at times. Is this a good time to bring up Mario Edwards coming back?
I was actually just about to go there. But go ahead.
That's actually one of the things that concerns me, because it's like, so he played 6 games for the Texans, started in all of them, and so just going back and looking at what he provided for the defense, not only is he like one of their energy guys, like, you know, he's one of the guys that's on the field, you can tell that he like really rallies them and keeps them motivated, but he almost always requires a double team. Whenever he takes guys on one-on-one, he is driving dudes back. So he's not very elusive. Like, he's a D tackle, whatever. He's not like elusive or whatever. Although some of the guys on their front, they do like this spin move thing, which I saw him bust out a couple times, which is kind of concerning because I don't know if I'm ready for any of the guys on our offensive line.
Well, that's what I was talking to Tyler Guyton about, because he said that you have to play longer, a little bit longer than you typically would, and you have to get your hands up a little bit faster. That's something they've been working on because of guys like Mario Edwards.
Yeah, and to see a guy that size pull that spin move though is kind of it's very Tasmanian Devil-esque. So stuff like that is what concerns me.
We can't handle that.
I mean, maybe we can. Who knows what they've done this week? But he either needs to be double teamed or he's moving guys out the way. So who's gonna double team him?
Well, I was gonna ask, what is he coming back from?
He was suspended.
He was suspended for
substance abuse.
So is he just now practicing?
No,
he's been at the
facility. They lifted a 1-game suspension, so they activated him back for 1 game after doing the substance abuse, and he was suspended for 4 games.
But he was suspended for 4 games. So has he been able to practice?
Yes. He's been training in the facility.
Yeah. But he hasn't played a game.
No. Has not played a game.
He hasn't played the last 4 games. He played 6 games earlier in the season.
That's what I said. I should being game ready, right?
No. I mean,
I'm
not saying I'm not worried. I mean, especially too, like I said, this defensive line is built like a get up field defensive line, very similar to how Dan Quinn's defensive lines here were built. Is like even your DTs can get upfield. So yeah, I mean, him coming in and even getting some. I want to go take a look and see if D'Amico or anyone's spoken on him about maybe how many snaps, how many reps he's going to be on, if so, or whatever. We can look into that. That's totally fine. Just to get a little bit more information, because you're correct. That's going to be important for a Cooper Beebe and those guys. The only thing that I will say that is a good thing in a way, is the fact that, again, the Texans, they're not going to do a whole bunch of disguising. They're not going to do a whole bunch of shift. They believe that their guys can win one-on-one or double teams, as you were talking about, Jazz. Yeah. So with that, the Cowboys' offensive line has done better with straight-up defensive lines. You look at the Steelers. You look at some of the teams that they have played that aren't super fancy schmancy. They're able to play, pretty good offense. So I'm also looking for them, maybe, not saying it's going to happen, but some screens and some, like, these guys are getting upfield. You either go behind them or you make them chase you or you misdirect.
Considering the struggles of their linebackers, going behind them might not be the worst thing.
Yeah.
So do you feel like their linebackers are a little bit of the weakness of the defense?
I mean, a little bit.
They're the weakest point, absolutely.
Yeah, considering how dominant the front looks, you would expect more production from their linebackers, and that was one thing I was confused by. I was like, why aren't they doing more? It's like, well,
maybe they're missing their guy, like you were maybe they're missing Mason Edwards. If he was the one taking on double teams, I mean, Tim Settle is drawing. It puts stress on your offensive line because who are you gonna chip? Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Tim Settle, and now you're talking about Mason Edwards. All of these gentlemen can rush the passer, and if they're feeling really froggy, they'll bring one of their linebackers. They'll bring out Sayer. So it's like...
Because one of the things I noticed, I looked at the Patriots game, because the last game he played was the Patriots game where he had 8 tackles, and they said that was one of his best games of the year. He in those 6 games, he was 3rd in sacks, 6 in tackles overall on the team, had 5 quarterback hits and 2 tackles for loss across 6 games. So not shabby at all. But the Vikings, when they weren't double teaming him, they were chipping him. So it was always an extra person that was required to handle this guy, whether it was chipping or double teaming. And it's like, if you didn't have one of those two, it was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna just drive you 15 yards into the backfield, and
then it changes the things, like you mentioned, without Hunter Lipke. Who do you trust for that extra protection to chip and take that kind of stress off of this offensive line?
Cooper and Tyler Smith, I guess. Cooper Beebe and Tyler Smith is the only people.
Well, we're talking about tight ends.
Like, tight ends maybe.
I would say
running
backs.
Jake,
But you can't.
But Mario is usually on the interior, so.
Right, yeah, absolutely. But as far as the defensive ends go, like, you're going to have to do something. Like, I do something. I mean, with Jake Ferguson, depending on what's going on with him, I mean, it's just... When you have to have these guys come in and chip like that and stuff, and again, you are going to go up against matchups like this where you got to do it, it takes away from the receiving aspect of it. And the way that this secondary plays, you need as many guys going out there for routes as possible. So I wonder if they're going to maybe try to use the running backs a little bit more to just kind of rib check them and go about their business, because you really need your tight ends this game, I think.
Yeah, so this is a Rico Dowdle game, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that Rico Dowdle could have some success with this defense. I mean, they're stout at stopping the run, but you can attack them on the interior, probably because Mason Edwards ain't been there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, watching him on the interior, I'm just like, I don't want to see them running up the middle. I don't want to see them running between the tackles. And I know they're going to do it. I'm just saying I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I'm going to be very upset.
Not the place to attack them.
Not at all. So, yeah, I do think that could be an issue. But what you're saying about using the tight ends and then going behind them, I do think that could be like a viable strategy. But we don't really know the status of our most important tight ends, unfortunately. Now, if we're talking about Danielle Hunter and the tackles and the tight ends in that situation, that feels it feels very bleak to me, because Danielle Hunter is actually very elusive. He's like really good at shedding blocks, and they put him, I think they put him on both sides. Sometimes the numbers are hard to read, but they put him on both sides. Yes. Yeah. So that could be interesting.
What you got?
What you got?
No, I was good. Oh,
okay. No.
I was looking at you.
I was like, I thought you. But no, I mean, another thing that comes into play also too is the fact that this offensive line got his work cut out for it, because this defensive line can get after you in such a way, this secondary can get after you too and take the ball away. And so I'm a little mixed stressed a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. And you can't. What's up?
How much do you anticipate us attacking the secondary is what I'm wondering, because I feel
like... Hold on, because we're going to go in that in the second segment. Okay. Bing, boom, 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 boom. We're talking about that up next here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
Timeouts.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
Cowboys Pro Shop near you, or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience, and stay ready to cheer on the boys at the 2024 Salvation Army Red Kettle kickoff game. And I think we can win that game. It's Giants.
Woo! I feel like we needed that.
I'm glad that they, how do I say this in a nice way?
I'm thinking what you're thinking.
I'm glad that we kind of know, what state they are in going into Thanksgiving, because...
Oh, I like the matchup.
People can enjoy their Thanksgiving without being stressed out. The last few... I'm not going to be as stressed. It's starting to go away.
Oh, you mean in that sense?
Fade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you guys ruin my Thanksgiving.
Oh, my goodness.
They've ruined my Thanksgiving in so many days. And y'all know for a fact that things be different. The food still be tasting good, but the house be feeling like... Oh,
the energy.
Golly.
Mm-hmm. See, most of my friends don't even be knowing what's going on. I be watching the game by myself.
My
family
still be good.
My family know. We
Same.
be eating the peach cobbler, and one of my cousins be like, dang. This is not, it's been, the game was over 2 hours ago. Let it go.
It be stressful.
Because it's a part of, even on Christmas Day, we feeling for me. It sits into your, I don't know, it does.
That's how it is for my family. Sports.
It's tradition.
Between
it changes.
football and basketball, it's like Christmas.
My cousins be hot. I be sitting up there just eating. Y'all gonna learn to get over it eventually.
Hopefully, the Cowboys
we
don't stress us out on Monday either. I don't think they will.
No, they don't.
I don't think they will.
I'm already
I think
stressed.
I
like it, Nicole. Nicole's positive.
The
I like
confidence is still here. It's still here
Okay,
within this
good.
team, with Mike McCarthy. But I gotta ask y'all, where's this confidence level in Cooper Rush?
I'm gonna say for me it's a lot less. I know last week I was like, I trust Cooper Rush, and it depends on the O-line. And after looking at that film from the last game, I don't know.
What about the neck strain? We talked about that.
Well, he said that he was good to go. Clarence, shout out to Clarence Hill actually asking that question. He was like, hey, what happened with the neck? Were you okay after the fumble? And he was like, I was good to go. It was a little hit to the neck, but he confirmed. You can go back and listen to the locker room sound.
I like that because Jerry made it seem like
he looked like he was good to go.
Yeah, Jerry made it sound like.
But my issue was if the way Dak does his footwork is the correct way to do it, the footwork was not there, the accuracy was not there. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. And I'm sure some of that did have to do with the offensive line. Yeah. But I don't have the kind of faith that I had in Cooper Rush before. Now, what I will say is I do think that having a designated lead back could be helpful.
Yes.
Just in terms of the flow of the offense and how things are going to go. Mike McCarthy was saying that, Cooper Rush needs to get a better feel for distributing the ball, both in terms of handoffs and passing. Yeah. So having that ironed out, I think, will help. I'm kind of glad I missed the press conference because I probably would have cried when he said that. like real time, being Rico is a lead back and we got to get him the ball. I'm like, oh my God, he said it. He said it out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally. But yeah, as far as like Cooper himself, I think the decisions are correct, but it's just when the ball is coming out of his hands, it's just not great. I saw a lot of balls that were overthrown, underthrown, just not going to where they need to be.
Or just losing, literally just getting out of his hand.
He did not look cool, calm, and collected.
No.
He looked disheveled, and maybe he just needed to get the jitters out.
That's what I say. That's what I think.
Maybe he needed to get behind that O-line and see how it felt, and now that he's done that, he'll be able to handle it a little bit better, but I did not like what I saw.
I think
but
he
got a lot of
I think there's an opportunity to get the rust off a little bit. I don't think he's going to be fumbling snaps. Well, I hope not. And I think I think he needs to get the ball off quickly. I don't think he can hold on to the ball with our O-line being a little inconsistent, so a lot of handoffs and now having Rico. I think that's going to help with the confidence, communication going into that game, knowing what they're up against and who he's got in his backfield.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, as you guys said, about him not being him not playing any preseason and that being his first game out there, number one. Number two, I will say my concern for him is on those sacks. Like, granted, Terrence still got to figure himself out. Yeah. Awesome gave up a sack as well. Like, come on. But he's not feeling pressure. He's not even, he didn't even feel those guys coming towards him. So I do think that is like a response to not playing football, not being out there. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. But to y'all's point on his mechanics and the way the ball's coming out of his hands, there are times where guys weren't open as well, where he's dealing with, again, the same things that Dak was dealing with. And that's something that concerns me this week, because one of the things that the players have pointed out is, he gets the ball out fast and everything. He did not get the ball out fast last week.
I didn't think so either,
the offensive line gave up a couple sacks. There were a lot of clean pockets. There were a lot of clean pockets. There was some time and opportunity there. So for me, I'm like, if he's going to get the ball out fast, he's going to have to. And these wide receivers are going to have to get off press.
Yes.
This Houston defense is very feisty. The way that this secondary plays football, it is very much so, I'm in your face. I'm here all day. You're going to have to run through me, big dog. And not only that, I tackle. So for me, I'm just like, that's something that this Cowboys wide receiver core has had trouble with all year.
Yep.
Jalen Tolbert, even CeeDee Lamb sometimes.
All of them.
CeeDee Lamb's
on that.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's a fantastic route runner. However, there are times where you want him to be more aggressive. And this secondary right here, Stingley, and again, Stingley's dealing with a hip. I don't know how any of this is going to affect them. Lassiter might not play. That's important to make note of. But these safeties are coming downhill with authority, and they coming across the middle of the field, trying to make you pay, trying to jar the ball loose. Ball security from the wide receivers is going to be important in this game as well, because this team creates they create turnovers. 7 interceptions between Bullock and Kamari Lassiter already. This season. So
when you look at the when you look at the my bad, real fast. When you look at the Cowboys receivers, they've had this. This is just next gen stats again. Like Mike McCarthy says, sometimes the stats don't tell the full story. But this is what I found: the Cowboys receivers have had the second fewest average yards of separation at the time of pass arrival in the NFL. The Texans' defense have allowed the third fewest yards of separation at the time of pass arrival in the NFL, which means they ain't giving up nothing.
And on top of that,
literally,
22.5% of the time, Cowboys receivers have less than a yard of separation. So the Cowboys already aren't getting it, and the Texans are known for limiting it. So it's going to be an issue. The Texans allow less than a yard of separation on 18.9% of passes, which is the fourth highest rate in the entire league.
It's crazy.
No, it is. Their defensive line allows them to do these things.
Yes,
it allows them to be creative, but it also just allows them to play free and to be able to run. Man, a lot of teams, the Cowboys ran. they ran a lot of man when their secondary was what it was. Well, when their defensive line could get to the quarterback as quickly, because it heightens the opportunity for you to get turnovers, and this team can do that. There's a real togetherness with how this secondary plays, and I'm not in the mood for it. I think that's, and if I'm being real with you, I think that's why. I mean, I think that Mingo was going to play anyway, but that's why I'm the most curious about Mingo, because his body type is the type of body type that either you got to be really quick to deal with these people and run away from these people, because they like to hit hard.
Well, sometimes Mike McCarthy actually talked about that today. He was asked about what he feels. One, do you feel like Mingo will be available, which he did confirm that he will be? And two, what do you feel that Mingo will bring? He said that he looks exactly how they're expecting exactly what they are getting or expecting to get out of him, as far as like being the guy to make those contested catches, because you feel like you're going to have to do that a lot. With a guy with a little bit better body control, as far as like when you're having to go one-on-one maybe with a couple of corners. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what he brings, because you really haven't gotten any of that from this receiver room. And it's not that they don't have the talent to be able to do that. It's just you just haven't seen it. It's not proven yet.
It's not that many guys with his body type either. You know, it's
Well, I was wondering if what he brings to the table is different than what they're getting from Ryan Flournoy, because like
a
he's
bigger
more,
body.
he's
More physical.
He's so much bigger. Like he's, and I understand what
And he
you're
plays
saying with
physical.
the run after catch ability and the contested catch and things like that. But like he's a unit of a human. So I am curious. Like I said, I think they'll do him on like quick things like slants and stuff like that with this game, and see if they can create from that, because I don't know, y'all.
But look what the Cowboys during the Pittsburgh game. I know it seems like a long time ago, and I can't believe we even won that game. But when they established the run, look what they were able to do and open up that offense. If we can do that,
I agree.
You know?
No, I think that there should be opportunity there to run the ball.
Yeah.
Like you can run the ball, but you are gonna have to take some chances with passing the ball. You just got to keep them honest. They run in man. Like, do some things to create some conflict. Do some things
Change
to
it up.
some
Shake
rub
it
routes.
up.
Do some bunch formations. Shotty's mentioned those things. Like, you're gonna have to scheme your guys open, because these guys don't really let people just run open.
But
he
how much of that are you expecting to see? Going back to Jazz's question before
just
the
about to
break,
go back there.
how much do you feel like there will be opportunities to attack the secondary like that question?
Because of Cooper Rush.
Because of Cooper Rush,
because of
lack
Cooper Rush,
verse.
because of the protection. Because like when it comes to some of those deeper passes, it sounds like it feels like the explanation has been, well, the protection isn't there. I don't remember if it was Mike McCarthy or Shotty who was explaining, like, they start with the strengths of the quarterback, and then from there the protection scheme has got to be there for some of the players. Yeah, for some of the players to be used the way we're expecting them to be used. And so if those things are still issues, then how much can we really expect the passing game to like really get going?
This might be the best. The Cowboys have seen some really good defensive lines. This might be the one, y'all.
McCarthy compared him to the 49ers defense.
I'm telling you,
Look at D'Amico Ryans.
Watching them, they are very dominant.
Yeah,
they're that good. So this offensive line's out. Now, one thing I guess is we saw Tyler Guyton practice fully today. What decision they make there at left tackle is going to be pivotal as well. So to see who's going to be man in that spot. And Tyler Smith, you said he practiced today, or he was limited today.
He was limited. Let me confirm that. One second. Tyler Smith limited. Yes, that was correct.
Yeah, we definitely have to keep an eye on that, because, like you mentioned earlier, they move some of these guys across the line. They'll move Danielle Hunter inside. They'll let him rush from the edge. They'll use him on stunts, and he can get there.
Well, Zach Martin not participating either. That's a huge blow.
I'm about to cry. Because
I really can't think of anybody this elusive that they've had to deal with as far as being on the defensive line. Like he can disappear on you.
Yeah.
And I just...
Like, Myles Garrett is elusive, but he's too big to disappear. Like, Danielle is slippery.
Yes, that's a good word.
Yes.
I like that word,
He's slippery. And so...
Do I have stats on him?
Will Anderson...
62 pressures, 16 run stops.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't he lead the league in pressures right now?
He might. I didn't write that
10
down
weeks?
if he does.
This is one of Zimmer's nuggets.
All right. How much pressure is on Cooper Rush this week?
Baby, a lot.
The whole team.
Shoot.
A lot of pressure.
I don't want to say the pressure is on Cooper Rush.
What?
Okay, well,
because
everyone.
This is his second game, so it's like this is an important game, right? But I don't know how much of an indictment it would be on him if they didn't do well. I think it'll depend on what he does and how he plays. But there are definitely some other guys who are supposed to be starters, who are supposed to be dependable, who are supposed to be the foundation of the offense, who haven't stepped up this season. And so for me, I would say the pressure is more so on all those other pieces who like, okay, you've been you've been starting all season and it doesn't feel like you're trending in the right direction. Yeah. Cooper still has some room, I think, to say like, okay, I'm adjusting to XYZ. Yeah. So we need him, absolutely. It's important that he plays well. I just wouldn't say he has the most pressure on him.
I just wonder how much time maybe Trey gets. How many series he may get.
It's hard to say because there really, it felt like there was almost no rhyme or reason to when they put him in and took him out and put him back in hokey pokey style against the Eagles. So I don't know if they feel like putting their left foot in.
I wouldn't mind seeing him a little bit though.
Shake it all about.
Exactly.
I mean, quite as
like you put your QB2 in, you take your QB2 out, you put your QB2 in, and then he runs all about.
Like the Tasmanian Devil.
They do the hokey pokey.
I'm crying.
And they turn this season around. That's
what it's all about.
Hey, that was good right there. That was actually good.
That was right.
That was really good. Y'all were good. I liked it.
This is literally right up Nicole's alley. She's like, yeah.
Over here, like internally, like,
yeah, sister. But no, I will say, quiet as kept. That is they're not saying it, but I do think it is oddly enough, just because of they're saying like, oh, we'll put in Trey sometimes or whatever the case may be. It doesn't feel like a competition at all to you right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
I feel like it is.
So
but the thing is, there's so many situations with the Cowboys where there's something that's a competition, but they don't treat it like a competition.
Well, I think they are. I'm curious to see how they handle, like, if Cooper Rush comes out in the first half and things aren't good. I mean, at what point, what value, because you have to, we talked about this yesterday, that you have to instill some confidence into your team. So if you don't do anything, and Christy mentioned that she believes that Cooper Rush is the best option for the team right now, and that she feels like the coaches feel like he's the best option for the team right now. But if if that's not working, what do you just keep throwing things at the wall, or you just say,
Cooper Rush is the best option if he brings to the table what they expected him to bring to the table, which is, one, him knowing the offense and being able to direct the offense, and his ball accuracy has typically been better than Trey Lance's. Also, his speed of getting the ball out.
Security.
But those things didn't come into play against the Eagles, and I feel like they waited way too long to try to switch things up. So if they are going to do that, I would like to see them do it earlier. I do think putting Trey Lance in could maybe add a ripple that could cause the opposing D-line to have to, like, think for a beat, which would help them out. So yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I won't act like, oh, there's nothing to lose. But I think it wouldn't be the worst thing to put Trey Lance out there, especially if Cooper Rush's accuracy still is not there.
It's gonna be a college game. I think watching a college game.
I think his arm could be an asset to the offense, and I also think his willingness to run.
To run is what I'm.
I was telling her to use.
She's telling me to leave.
I was like the door.
No, she's telling me to leave the door.
But no, I think to lessen the pressure.
What do y'all think about Trey?
Let me answer that first point first, because I'm losing my thought. I think the less pressure, to not allow Cooper Rush to have too much pressure on him, I think special teams really needs to help. So they're not having to drive downfield all goddamn game, because that is what this team has struggled with so much this season, or really last weekend against the Falcons, like field position. I mean, you got to have some help. Kavontae Turpin, he had a nice little 48-yard return last week.
He's had good returns.
He has.
It's the penalties.
Yes.
It's the penalties. It's the pre-snap penalties that kill them. I agree with you. Starting field position to help this offense out is going to be huge.
We need all the help we can get.
And then when you get to the 6-yard line, please
good opportunity.
Score.
Yeah, they're getting.
It's gonna be at night. No sun.
Find a way.
When they get their,
I wanted to say that. They can't worry about the sun. It's a night game.
When they get their chances, to put together, Lord have mercy, I need them to take certain possessions in these games seriously. Like, if they get a chance, if you get a good return from Kevontae Turpin and you're at the 40, take advantage of that. Like, get into your best plays. Try to.
And no penalties,
because
like you said.
offense right now for your team is hard to come
What
by.
are their best plays?
Tater tots.
See, that's what I'm saying though.
I started singing Shirley Temple in my head. I straight on like panicked. I was like,
I feel like the best things that we've seen from them have been things that felt like they were either only used once for some reason or they were impromptu.
Improvising.
Crossing route from CD across the back of the end zone. Where did that come from? We ain't never seen it again.
The Kevontae Turpin play on fourth down where they.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's. We'll see what they pull out, but like this
Even
is a good
Rico
defense.
bouncing out to the edge, I don't think that's designed. I think he's just doing that on
on his
his
own,
own,
yeah,
and they're like,
instincts.
"Oh, he's getting yards. Just let him do it."
What you
All right,
got?
we are going to take our second break. And up next. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, no, we're talking offensive line for Cowboys. Texas defensive line. Who has the advantage? I don't know. We'll find out right here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that sixth ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
All right, witness the biggest boxing event in modern history at Netflix and MVPs Paul vs. Tyson and Taylor vs. Serrano. Head to AT&T Stadium this Friday, November 15th at International Superstar. Jake Paul takes on the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, and don't miss Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Long-awaited rematch for the Undisputed Super Lightweight Championship. Limited tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
I'm a little stressed out about that.
Yeah.
What, Mike Tyson and Jake?
I just don't want. I'm not prepared to see.
They said it's one of the most money ever on a boxing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah.
One of our
I
greatest.
love boxing.
You know.
I don't know. Mike Tyson
better act
has
accordingly.
said
Tyson's
some
crazy.
things
He'll
that's
get-
been like, make him sound like literally homicidal.
We know.
So I feel like
This is not
He
healthy.
gonna be all right.
Yeah, it's.
Who y'all
I
think is
hope
going
so.
to win?
I hope Tyson.
I mean,
He's at the age.
usually when a fighter goes up against a killer,
Yeah.
the killer wins.
But
Tyson's
I'm not
crazy,
about
though.
to pretend like I'm like that much into it, and you know we can't bet on it, you know. So I'm just like,
I don't know the stipulations and the rules and all that stuff.
that's a good point.
I wish I knew all of those things because it's like if he can like knock him out, I just think this is a bit dangerous for everyone. So I don't know. I'm just. They better act accordingly.
Interesting.
And our Cowboys as well.
That's all I have to say.
I have never.
Y'all
I don't
better
think
not
I've really
have-
watched boxing for real. I don't think
MMA.
I'm a
watch
UFC
socially.
girl. I'm a UFC
Yeah,
girl.
same.
You got really excited. You got really excited.
The Army and Buffalo Wild Wings got me like UFC night. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Are you that excited for the Cowboys Texans matchup?
I am excited because I get to see Tank Dell.
Aww.
Yet not see him in real life.
No.
But like see him on the field.
Yeah.
I got to meet him at the combine.
Oh, okay.
And just talking to him and his goals, and he said he played football since he literally was picking up a football at like 3.
Yeah.
So this is like, I don't know. And I like the Texans. D'Amico Ryans is a good coach.
Yeah, I do too.
What you want me to say? Like,
No, I mean that's
sorry.
that
like
has an
CJ
incredible
too.
story, especially like.
I'm sorry.
Can I go on a tangent?
Yes, please.
D'Amico Ryans was put in that position and expected to fail. Everybody was like, "This is a setup."
Thank you.
And they were like, "Yeah, it's another black coach going to a bad coaching job," and he was like,
And he's thriving.
"Hold my beer."
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, and just ever since then, the team has been great. Like, not even it was hardly a delay. They got him, they got CJ Stroud, and
the players will run through a wall for him. They love him.
That part.
As a sports fan, I am a fan of that team.
Same.
I like the Cowboys, but like the Texans
like CJ
story
too.
and how they've turned things around, it's been phenomenal to watch.
I'm with you. I think we're all.
Okay, we gotta stop.
I'm a Houston girly,
So you're just taking it all in.
I'm just gonna soak it all in and expect the Cowboys to come out with a
I feel
win.
like Lake Charles was like the baby sister of Houston a lot of times anyway.
So Lake Charles?
Yeah. It's a few hours
I see
down
what you're
I
saying. Yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
have a lot of respect for the folks in Houston helping out there with the hurricane and stuff. There were people still flying their Texans and Rockets flags when we were out there on the boats, helping them after. And I get it, and I'm happy for the fan base. But yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to come out and play. The defense is going to come out and play.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that.
I mean, at this point,
but all 4 quarters though, Aisha, instead of just the first half.
They're going to need help from that offense.
Exactly.
Yes,
Them
exactly.
playing all 4 quarters means they're going to need
Help from
complementary
the
football
offense.
from the
Yeah.
offense.
And we haven't seen that.
It's like they can't have the offense doing these 3-and-outs interceptions and then they back out there in less than 3 minutes.
Y'all know what I need? Cooper. We ain't got no time for no dang game, advantage game, but I need score predictions.
I was close last game, huh?
Running around.
I was close. I said 30, and Aisha looked at me like I
I
was
never
crazy.
want to do a prediction again.
I didn't like being right last time.
I'll do mine tomorrow.
What's yours? What you got?
I don't have one.
She's not-
Y'all don't
goodness.
believe me. I don't do predictions. Here's what I'm gonna predict.
Okay, I need a hot take.
A hot
It's a hot take. Yeah, give it a hot take.
The defense. There will be a defensive touchdown scored this game. That's my hot take.
Nice little
Okay.
pick 6. I like that.
All right.
Or Forrest Gump,
Maybe
or
Maris will get the ball again. I'll do something.
I was good on my score prediction last time. I'm going to change it up though. I'm going to do 21-16 Cowboys. I'm going to change it up. That's saying our offense is going to get going with our run game, and that's a very hot take. I know y'all.
You
but
got out of it today.
I will hope that.
It's fine. You can do it tomorrow.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
All right.
I'm gonna do
On
it.
that note, we'll be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. I'm Nicole Hutchison for Aisha Morrison, for Bonnie Jo Laughlin, for Jazz Monet. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!